Your husband never knows when enough is enough.
I wanna dance with somebody.
And I think a lot of women realize that when they marry men, they're actually getting like their worst nightmare case of a little brother. The one who's just going to do this right next to you until you're like, stop it! The one who's just going to like squirt you with a water gun all the time. Or a big brother. Actually, a big brother, because big brothers have more power and are bigger than you and are usually treated like a prince the way that patriarchy treats men. You know, I remember a while ago, there was a video about like, and it was a guy, of course, being like, you know, if your husband makes a bid and you're like, look at this beautiful bird, and you're just like, and you keep doing your thing and you don't take the bid, then of course he's going to feel rejected. And then you're going to wonder why, like, you know, he starts looking at other women or doesn't feel loved and appreciated. Like when your partner's making a bid, you should take that bid. And okay, sure, that's great advice, but you can never give any advice on marriage, especially when it comes to a cishet couple, without considering how patriarchy plays into that. Because so many men are not raised to be thoughtful. So many men are raised to be entitled. And just like that dude, that dad, he's just like, you know, I just want to be funny. I want to be funny. I want to play a joke. I'm just going to do this thing because I think it's funny. You know, I want to laugh and I want her to laugh and I want people to laugh at me and I need constant validation without even thinking about or caring what she might be doing in that moment. And then if she has ADHD on top of that, like I do and like a lot of women, then whatever it took for her to get the momentum to actually perform that task and do whatever the thing that she's focused on, now she's got to start it all over again because this guy's like, hey, you still love me? Hey, look at this thing, laugh at my joke, right? Like so many of these men, like it's like Biff having George McFly living there, you know, like a live-in bully. They can just be like, hey, and just, you know, knock the books out of your hand and stuff. Or, you know, just have someone to laugh at all their jokes because they just think they're so funny and they wanted to be a stand-up comedian so bad, and they probably would have been really good at it. They just didn't have the time, you know, because they had kids and a wife, you know, like so many of these men think they're so funny. My dad told the same joke every time we went to dinner. I don't even know what it's from. He'd always quote what it's from. I don't even care. But every time the waitress would give him the bill, he would grab it and then he'd like have it float in the air like it's just so big he can't touch it. It's some inside old-timey TV show or movie joke. And you know, the first time it was funny. The 5,629th time, it was like, you know, and like me and my sister would just be like, but it wasn't even about making us laugh. At a certain point, he loved the fact that he was annoying us because we didn't think it was funny. We weren't laughing. And so he laughed at the fact that we didn't think it was funny and that we were annoyed by it. Do you know what I mean? So it's like they don't even want you to laugh at their jokes sometimes. Sometimes they love the fact that you hate their jokes. And so I wouldn't call that a bid. That's not a bid for love. That's being an inconsiderate prick who's not thoughtful at all, has no empathy, and isn't aware. I mean, I'm not just talking about like my dad. That was just one example. But like husbands in general, totally clueless, or no, not clueless, because a lot of them are aware of exactly how much their wives are doing and they don't care and they like it that way and they want to keep it that way. But some men may be clueless as to just how much their wives are doing, why they're on their phone so much. It's not because they're just forking off. They're getting stuff done, man. And then you're like, hey, carrying the mental load, the emotional labor and all that stuff. And then you're going to interrupt her just to annoy her, or at the very least, just to get her to laugh at your dumb joke. I swear, it's so many of men's problems come down to basic lack of empathy. Like refusal to put themselves in a woman's position. Because I promise you, a lot of these men would never do that to other men. So they actually know not to do that. The same way they know when you're climbing to not give men unsolicited advice, but feel free to give women all kinds of unsolicited advice so that they feel insecure while they're just trying to mind their business and climb. And this man just inserts himself, right? Like men, they just can't leave us alone. And it's not even in public spaces. It's literally in our homes. So if you are with, like, if this is another thing, if you're dating a man and you start to notice that he is not respectful of your time or doesn't even ask himself, should I interrupt her right now? Is this a really smart thing? How important is this? How important is this right now? If you start to see those warning signs when you're dating someone, you better have some hard conversations right away because it's not getting any better. Once you're married and you're locked into that and have a whole mortgage and a shared bank account and children and the stakes are so high, you really think that he's going to care that you don't laugh at his dumb jokes? And the worst part is that that woman looks insane. Women look crazy when we lose our patience with men, when we overreact. It's just a joke. No, it's not a joke. It's about you not respecting my time, my autonomy, you not being thoughtful, you not seeing me as a human being, which is what it really boils down to. And I say this as a comedian, right? Been doing comedy in New York and LA and now in Europe for a long time. I love jokes, y'all. Love them. But a lot of this stuff, it's not jokes, y'all. It's never just jokes. Not when it comes to men and patriarchy and oppression.